on music stuff, background thingies. Because I'm using the Tailspire one, and it can be finicky. Alright, so, let's go ahead and recap a little bit of last session. As you guys had found yourselves on this mysterious island after using Kaporan's teleportation circle to just kind of see where it went, and then zerp your guys' way back. Unfortunately, as you guys first scoured around the island, gathering a few different things, and then getting ready to use Kaporan's teleportation circle once more, it did not work. Magic, to a degree, works here, but something too high and it is nullified, or there isn't a strong enough connection for it. So, you guys camped. There is a boat that was connected to the island, so sun went down decently early and decided to just kind of wait till tomorrow before setting sail. Unfortunately, the frogs had other plans, as the small pond at the base of your little encampment area, the frog started to go out, and then larger, and a much larger frog. Nori, now looking down into the pit, I believe you went down as a frog yourself, seeing an interesting artifact down there, getting zapped for your troubles, and then frogging your way back up. Told the group that you had seen such artifacts, some obelisk with lightning shooting out from it, being surrounded by a school of fish swimming in a interesting cult-esque circle. But as you came back out, you had heard a voice, not of your group. Sneaking with Racha in tow. Racha, you were a sneak master last session. Well, I mean, pretty much every session, let's be real. You noticed it was one of the larger frogs, not the largest one, but one of the larger frogs that a voice was coming out from. After maneuvering yourselves around with some surprisingly decent acrobatic rolls up until a point, you saw a female figure speaking to this larger frog and dealing with something in the ocean. After said acrobatic roll, where a little bit of a slip happened, the frog was set upon your area and started attacking wildly into the brush, luckily missing you. With this, though, it sparked the female figure and the frog to move off from their position and go talk to the others. With this, you guys left in pursuit, and unfortunately, the language that you had heard was Draconic, and you had originally brought Kaporan in to listen to it. Since you and Racha disappeared into the brush before really giving Kaporan any other further instructions, he sort of just followed as this frog and woman went around the bend, and he was keeping a distance, but still an eye. It's to the point where the frog was meeting the other frog, and more ladies were being interacted with. Kaporan turned the corner. Someone tossed a pebble, smacking Kaporan in the head, basically telling him, "No, come back." Which he complied. Unfortunately, around the side, up against the wall where you guys couldn't see, the largest of the frog was currently resting. And then Kaporan ran smack into him. This instigated an interesting animal handling check where, even worse than the acrobatic check performed earlier, Kaporan offered a ration in which the frog partook, as well as Kaporan. Him looking like much more of a beefier meal to be had. With Kaporan inside, there then was an internal acidic tango of sorts going on, as Kaporan was continuously trying to blast his way out, until the point where the large frog took it upon himself to leap, skyrocketing into the sky, landing directly on his belly to hopefully quash the troublesome upset stomach he was having. This, though, sparked interaction with the others of the island, and those that aren't the stealthiest and decided to stay behind realized something was afoot after this large frog jumped 150 feet in the air and landed straight on its stomach, damn near rocking the island. It was then that another female figure had come out Kaporin had been lulled out of the mouth of this frog creature, and an interesting tense moment happened between Nori doing the "we come in peace, let me heal my stupid friend" situation happened. This is what she was internally thinking, and not me, Kaporin. Don't worry, I think you did everything just right. And the heels went off. The group coalesced once more together, and now seeing multiple people appearing out of the woodwork, the woman decided to go ahead and take a shot and take one of you guys down before anything else could happen. That and controlling the weather to make a complete rain screen of you guys being able to see anything allowed them enough time for them to, first off, basically strip search Kaporin for any of the stones that he may have taken already, which they were all taken away from him. The tunnel, which you for the pond, had been collapsed, and for them to all hop on the boat and get away. By the time the control weather dissipated, you guys had re-healed Kaporin, then knocked him out, then re-healed him. And now boatless, you guys decided to turn your gaze upon the pond, which all the frogs had come out and Nori had gone in earlier seeing the obelisk. When sun rose, after people got their rests in, a lot of the frogs died. Only those that were currently in and submerged into the little bit of water that rose above the cave-in were able to survive. Polly getting in there with his enhanced ability and hoisting rocks to make more room between him, Amric, and the rest of you guys were able to finally, after a few hours, it was 2 hours before you guys slept, then you slept, and then you worked on it for about 4 more hours afterwards. And we're able to finally get down to where we are now. You all trying to decide what to do as Amric started to push towards the obelisk and realized, ow, that hurts. That hurts a lot. With your guys' Richard's intellect, he was able to deduce that probably right around the obelisk where there is an air pocket, and all the frogs seem to be currently surrounding, that it must be super hot if they're able to create an air pocket by basically electrolyzing the water. So, that's where we resume. You got Amric had just taken all his damage. You guys are currently water breathing underwater here. And besides the circle of fish, the frogs are mainly around the base of this thing, but they do go into the air pocket and stick up beside the obelisk, obfuscating any view that you may have of any sort of engravings, markings, or runes, or anything like that.
Nori did heal me.
Well, but you did still take damage. You flex taped it.
So those frogs aren't getting fried?
Nope.
So the heat must not be that bad.
Well,
Or they're attuned
also,
to it in some way.
I know there are some items that affect beasts differently than they do other creatures. But it feels very culty, considering when I tried to speak with them, I just got humming.
So should we just turn Kaporin into a frog so we can have his cult?
It's a 4th level spell.
The way she said that made it sound like she considered it.
So shall we do this then?
I mean, do we really... Have we examined all our options? Because this seems like a bad decision, just from what I've seen thus far.
So a normal decision for us, basically.
Yes, but you know, I'd like not to.
We could go dig out the other cave, but it's going to take a lot of time.
I don't think there's a
There wasn't
point to
much-
it, though, because... Sorry, go ahead.
as Polly agrees with me, there wasn't much other than the circle in the cave and those other special rocks.
Yeah, Caparin said that the circle in the other cave was just for getting here, not leaving. But we wouldn't really have to clear out the cave since it's saltwater down there. We could just find another entrance to it. If you wanted to do that.
Is Emmerich the only one that got hit?
Yeah, I'm the only one damaged right now, but I'm only like barely damaged.
And what were you hit with?
The lightning.
And it came directly from the obelisk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
obelisk
like-
is like
It's like a Tesla coil. As I got in range, it started zapping me. And the closer I got, the more damage it did.
and the fish are keeping the lightning at bay. We tried stopping the fish and they stopped and the lightning got worse.
How far are we to the edge of the fish and to the obelisk, or can we tell that?
35 feet before you guys start getting impacted by lightning.
And are these crystals some more of the...
These are the different I only have so many I can work with, but these are the
Yeah.
multicolored, so a bunch of different types. Polly tried using a blue crystal earlier, and nothing. It still hit him.
But we have different colors if you want to try it.
I mean, that'd be the only thing, is do we try every single stone?
I will say, around the obelisk itself, there are a multitude of different colors, and the lightning seems to not be attracted to one specifically. They'll hit them sporadically every now and then as the bolts are kind of going everywhere, but there is no like divining rod one, or none of them. The ones that do get hit seem to like glow as if they're empowered or anything like that.
The obelisk look like it's made from one of these stones, or no?
You can't tell. Only Nori might have had an idea, because she saw it before the frogs, because the frogs are all over this thing. Nori, just do a straight intelligence check.
I'm very good at these.
And then you won't have a problem, right?
That's a 7.
Can't tell. It was still so many fish kind of swimming through, and you were getting closer to find out, and then you got zapped.
So, my conjure animals, it's a 3rd level spell and it has a range of 60 feet. Could I theoretically summon a creature right next to the obelisk?
Sure.
Before we were talking about like how the curtain of magic that goes over the world is kind of like bunched, so it's pulled thin here. That's why we can't cast anything above 3rd. Is there any way we can see that, or anything that we can do to see that?
There
feel
is. Feel it. I mean, the only way that you feel it is by not being able to cast anything higher than a 3rd.
Right. What I'm trying to discern is this thing siphoning the magic from the curtain, or is it not? Because if it's siphoning it, then we can just destroy it from where we are.
As far as being able to tell, the only persons that you guys know that would be able to tell is Dreamweavers. Or deities, but your guys' deity is a little tapped at the moment.
/ 4th level spell.
But Dreamweavers definitely would be able to, but even they would need to either go into the dream plane to notice it, or be asleep themselves. Because it's when they sleep that they heal.
Is the Emmerich the only one that's gotten towards it? Or Polly as well, I guess, but...
They probably just did his hand and then got hit once and backed out. Nori got hit once when she was a frog and backed out. Emerich's the only one that went in deep, and he grabbed a fish. And you do know that every 5 feet you move, you get hit by lightning, and it freezes you. So it's not like you can move 30 feet and around. It's 5 feet. You get shocked, and you stun gun, and then you move another, and then it increases too the damage the closer you get.
Can we just get a big stick and push him in?
So I believe the last idea that you guys were tossing around was putting a rope around Kaporin, and you guys just mass healing him as he goes in to possibly identify the obelisk.
I mean,
Well,
I have
we
my
have-
shield that I can just hockey puck him.
Yeah?
The bard.
Just launch him.
It's just our version of curling. Instead of the little brooms, it's the heel.
I'm not so much sure it's curling and more shot put.
But there's the healing aspect. I feel like shot put wouldn't have a healing aspect.
I mean, to get him in there faster.
Well, and it possibly won't stop him every couple feet if he's not the
It's
one
just-
moving himself.
It's just the momentum.
Does it feel like I could glide smoothly over there?
We were underwater.
If I'm pushing off?
I'm gonna shove him the other way, see if my heel will go. Not with my shield, just go. Shove him.
I mean, there is a bit of a current because of what the fish are doing here. So just getting shoved, like lightly, you just get caught in the current and kind of get moved.
Oh no, it's not a light shove. Come on now. It is not a
Without,
light shove.
what I mean is without using your shield to shove him, the only 5-foot shove, he doesn't go very far. And then he gets picked up in the current. This isn't the astral sea where there's no friction. He just flies forever in one direction.
Horn's in a whirlpool now. He's just going with the flow. Just go with the flow.
How sturdy did those palm trees look?
Sturdy enough to hold a Racha and a Nori, probably that be the very highest extent of what they could hold.
Were there smaller ones, like long, thin ones?
They were all pretty much long and thin. The longest one being about 20 feet.
And how long would it take to cut it down?
Not that long.
I'm gonna go upstairs and cut one down and strip it.
Okay. The Kaporan poking device is being prepped.
Can we test something here?
Of course.
As long as you heal yourself.
I don't want to heal myself. Oh, I don't want to heal myself. I don't want to do that. I want to. Kaporan's recommending. Could we take a metal object, such as a sword or something, and see if it will attract the lightning
I
if
think it's
thrown in its area?
We did that last session. Did not work.
Did we?
Yeah. You
I
threw.
thought it was only with the rock.
I know you were talking about it. I thought you did it.
I don't think we ever did it. It kind of got to the point where we were talking about throwing myself into it.
Well, it's magic, so it's not necessarily going to be attracted to things the same way normal lightning would. It's like my spell.
I mean, you could still try if you want to.
But by all means, go for it.
Fish. Noises.
What?
What did you say? Fishes.
They're humming, kind of creepily.
Say it with your voice.
I hum the way the fishes are to the best of my ability.
Okay. It's just a high tone, low tone. High tone, low tone. It's nothing exaggerated or complex.
Is it a pattern?
Yeah, just over and over and over again. Just just constant.
Always the cup. No. Rich Ha's gonna start motioning towards the thing, and mimicking the noises. Begin to also mimic the fishes and float in their pattern. not close enough quite yet, but to see if like the fish react in his continuing to swim with them.
So 35 feet is when the electricity was starting to impact people. To get to the fish, you need to go 10 feet in. So how do you want to do this is basically what I'm asking.
I guess I'd start avoiding by avoiding going in entirely and seeing if it resonates at all with me singing in that way.
So you're staying outside the 35 and just kind of circling around and...
Correct. And seeing if at least if the fish take notice at all.
I mean, the fish didn't even take notice of Amric until he grabbed one of them. So, I mean, he got right up close and personal.
To be fair, they also didn't even notice until I got that one fish outside of the 35 feet.
True. So, I mean, you circling around the outside, not getting any closer and doing the same thing, there doesn't seem to be any change.
Then, yeah, while he's continuing to chant that way, he's going to at least step into the threshold of where lightning was happening and see what happens.
Okay. You start to follow the currents and the fish, and you start to eke your shoulder into, and almost immediately, 1 point of lightning damage.
Nori's gonna summon 2 reef sharks. One she's gonna summon outside the 35 feet, and one she's going to summon next to Rachaw. If he's still swimming around, I want to see if it hits both of Rachaw and the thing, and the shark, or if I can somehow like get the shark to take the damage for him.
Okay. So Rachaw, are you gonna coordinate with this and both move in at the same time?
I guess while that's happening, he would have hesitated coming back out to see if it hit him again from that distance.
Okay.
And while still continuing to do the same thing.
It would have hit you again. And it's 4 points of lightning damage.
Okay.
And it's not instantaneous, not like pop pop, but 3 seconds apart from each other. So seeing that, Nori summons the 2 reef sharks, puts one right in front of you, so that way you can see it when it starts to move in and coordinate with it. So you both go in. Reef Shark takes 6 points of lightning damage. Rachaw, you take 2. As 2 separate bolts catch both of your shoulders at the same time, momentarily stunning you, and then you can either stay in or move out before the next bolt hits.
Is there lightning going off inside that pocket in the middle?
Inside the what?
There's that air pocket with all the heat, apparently.
Oh, no, there's no lightning happening directly
There's
on
no
it.
lightning in there. Okay.
No.
I'm gonna have the shark swim further in.
I'll go ahead and back out.
Alright, so Rachaw's out. Shark moves another 5 feet in, takes 7 points of lightning damage. Freezes up, muscles tense, in or out.
Keep going.
Okay.
No reef sharks were actually harmed in the making of this D&D game.
It
No,
moves
they're just spirits.
in, and it starts to get
That's what
underneath.
the government wants you to think.
It moves another 5 feet in, and this time it's starting to get just underneath the outer rim of the fish. It takes 13 points of lightning damage.
He poofs away.
Okay. The fish didn't seem to react to it moving close to them.
Yeah, Nori will have the other shark swim over to her, and she kind of pets it on the nose and go, "Well, not great."
And it is one of those globe things where there's electricity going up as well, not just
Yeah.
out, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the fish almost create a dome over this thing. but they don't make a perfect, like, they don't completely cover the top of it, so every now and then you do see bolts coming out the top.
Is there a dome of this lightning too? Like if I was to go over, 35 feet away over the top of it, or no?
You could certainly try. You haven't seen, like, beyond you guys getting close to it, if you're just sitting there watching it, the lightning doesn't escape the fish. So once you start to move closer to it is when the lightning will cut through the fish and find you guys and hit you as you get too close.
And it's not harming the fish at all.
It doesn't seem to be. From what you can tell through the little gaps between the fish, it does seem to be like either bouncing off them or impacting them. You can't really tell. You're not seeing any. Obviously, you're not seeing any dead fish floating to the surface. You're not seeing scorch marks on any fish from the little glimpses that you can see.
How tall is this cave area? Like, would there even be 35 feet to be above this thing, or no?
Just barely.
I guess I'll try to do that direction then, and go floating over the top, out of its range as much as I could be.
Okay. Just float over the top of it, and you kind of like push your back up against the cavern ceiling and like scoot yourself along. Like, this is pretty much, like if you just drop down a little bit, you're probably in range if you want to try.
Yeah, I'm like actively watching it to see what it's doing as it fires, because you couldn't obviously see through the fish as it's firing.
Yeah. Okay, so you kind of like take a breath and then push yourself off from the ceiling. Nothing happens. You're 5 feet in.
I'll like keep creeping closer until it chooses to shoot me if it does.
Okay. You move 10 feet in. You're now about 5 feet away from the top portion of the fish. Nothing.
I swear if I get annihilated because of this is gonna suck. He's gonna keep doing it until something bad happens.
Okay, so you.
I'm gonna have my shark kind of like staying near the roof just enough so that it could dart in, grab her jaw if something real bad happened, and dart out.
Okay. Now, Rachel, you're moving into basically the top of the fish dome, where there's a little gap that you can start to move into.
The tiny hole that you were saying.
Yeah. Barely enough room for you, basically, to kind of waddle your way down. And you get down, and right before you actually pierce the veil of fish dome